You've been told that deloads are necessary for progress. But what if I told you they're actually a sign of flawed training program? By the end of this video, you'll understand why deloads might be holding you back and what to do instead. So what if your training was planned in a way that you didn't need any deloads? For years and years and years, I thought that I had to have a deload every 6 to 8 weeks, because that's how it was in the bodybuilding world. You train, you have 6 weeks off, you recover, and you go again, and you grow muscle. That's so far away from the truth. Study, training for 5 consecutive days with just 4 sets per workout led to fatigue that lasted 2 weeks. During this period, real hypertrophy is not happening, but muscle swelling creates this illusion that you're growing muscle. But guess what? You're not. Right, second exercise, we've done calves already. We did calf raise on the leg press, 2 working sets. Second exercise, we're focusing on glutes. Session on legs, as you know by now if you've been watching my videos, calves and glutes are my main priorities when it comes to leg training, so I get them done at the beginning of the session. We got 6 reps on this last time. If you haven't watched the video on progressive overload, go back and watch that because you'll understand a lot more why now. Today, I'm aiming for 7 reps on this. All right, 1, 2, 3. Yes! So fatigue is mainly caused by excessive calcium influx into fast twitch muscle fiber, which then leads to things like muscle damage, excitation, contraction, coupling failure, central nervous fatigue, and particular training styles that impacts fatigue more than others. So for example, high volume, light loads, failure training, stretch position exercises equals a lot more fatigue. And for example, lower volume, heavy loads, leaving you 1 or 2 reps in reserve, contraction position exercises equals less fatigue. So you just see me, for example, do a glute bridge on there. I did 2 working sets on that glute drive, working more of the contracted portion of the glute. That creates a lot less damage, a lot less fatigue. I'm now going to be doing 1 exercise on glute, 1 on each leg, so only 1 working set, working a little bit more of the length and range of the glute mid. Now that can create a lot more damage, which then can carry over fatigue to the session itself, but then also the following sessions coming up. I don't want that, hence why I'm only doing 1 working set, and that's it for glutes. So I've got 2 working sets and 1 working set here, 2 working sets on the stuff that creates less damage. So it's really important to start realizing where we put our exercise in our sessions, so then we manage this fatigue situation so that we don't need a deload week in 6 weeks' time. Hey. You noticed that on there I left 1 rep in reserve. I could have got another 1 gone to failure. If I go straight to failure, I'm going to cause more damage, more fatigue. I want to minimize that. Onto the leg now. Guys, CNS fatigue is a big deal. It prevents the recruitment of high threshold motor units, which are key for muscle growth. And so when our workouts are moderately intense, CNS fatigue is there, but it only lasts about 1 to 2 days. However, when our workouts are extremely damaging, CNS fatigue lasts up to 1 week. And so the biggest takeaway for you here is, if you're training regularly, high volume, high reps, very little rest, you are creating a huge amount of CNS fatigue, which is then going to take you over a week to recover from before you can actually start building muscle again. Instead, if you were to do, for example, heavy weights, lower reps, longer rest periods, that's going to create only CNS fatigue for 1 to 2 days. Meaning, you can train again in 48 to 72 hours the same muscle that you're trying to improve, instead of waiting a week and having to train that a week later, when all you're doing by that point is actually just regaining the muscle that you lost up until then. So for me, it's a no-brainer. You don't need a deload. You need to train more efficiently. As I've already said, one of the biggest things in terms of creating the fatigue that we don't want is doing exercises that work the length and range position, which, for example, this one here is going to the length and range of the quads. Now, I've seen this on a regular basis. People go into the gym and they'll do 2 to 3 working sets of leg press, 2 to 3 working sets of hack squat. That's already 4 to 6 working sets in a lengthened position. At the end, they may even do 60 squats or lunges, which is then going to have even more of an impact, still lengthened range position on the quad. How do you expect to recover from that, especially if you're not doing this taking steroids? If you're not taking steroids and you're not got that plus point to help you grow, then this becomes even more efficient. You're doing that, you're going to need, obviously, if you're doing this kind of type of training, you're going to need deload. But if you need a deload, it means your training is not efficient anyway. Right, let's see what we can get on here. I got 160 for 7 last time, so I've gone 170 here. Let's see what we can get. 1, 2, 3. Four reps, that's fine with me. I'm doing just 1 working set on here now. That's it, no more length and range stuff for me today. We're gonna move on to leg extension, short range, lying leg curl, short range, done. So deloads become necessary only if training is too fatiguing. If fatigue accumulates to the point where a deload is required, well, hypertrophy is actually reduced just before the deload due to the interference from fatigue mechanisms. And so this illusion of muscle building, of hypertrophy from swelling, misleads many to thinking that progress is actually being made when it isn't. So you don't need a deload if your training is on the money. As I said to you at the beginning of this video, when I was in my bodybuilding world and had no idea what I was doing, I'd trained really hard, ridiculous amounts of volume, no wonder I needed a deload. But I would go into the following season of bodybuilding, and very little improvements were made. And I kept banging my head against the wall. What am I doing? What am I doing? Only if I knew then what I know today, potentially I would have been in a much better place. Who knows? But based on the science right now, I truly believe that I would be in a much better spot then. Second working set. On this already, we've done one already where we beat by 1 rep last week's numbers. And so let's see what we can get out of this on the second set. It's a total working sets of 3 for quads, 1 on the leg press and 2 on the leg extension. Instead of training programs that force us to have deloads, we should design a program that doesn't require them at all. So what key changes can you make to your training plan right now to manage your fatigue so that you don't have to have a deload week? So volume, that's going to be the biggest thing, right? How much are you doing in your sessions in your week? Reduce that volume so that you don't create the fatigue that then requires you to have a deload. So for me, heavier weights, moderate to low volume, longer rest periods, don't train too many days in a week. So for me, 3 to 4 days is more than enough. Separate those days so it fits in with your lifestyle and the goals that you have for your muscle building. Then listen to your body. If you've got a lot of stresses outside of the gym, maybe take a week off because of that, not because your training program is poor and then you're having to deload. Deloads, in my opinion, are poor program designing. That's all it is. So hopefully, guys, this has helped you. Do you deload right now? And if you do, comment below. Tell me why. Why do you deload? And has this video changed your mind? I'll be very, very intrigued to know. Thank you for watching, guys. As per usual, if you liked the video, if you didn't like the video, comment, let me know. Subscribe, like, share for the algorithm, and let's get stronger and smarter together. I'll see you in the next video.